All right, let's do it. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Drag Racing Live, where we bench race with the world's top drag racers. My name is Bill Pratt. I'm here with John Bachman, of course. And tonight we're going to feature Chris Miner, sand drag racer and a legacy drag racer with his dad for many, many years. You know him, you love him. We're going to find out what it's all about. Chris is carrying on the legacy of the great Larry Miner, who rose from sand drag racing to national success in the 80s. Chris joins us to talk about his own path in sand drag racing, growing up in one of the drag racing's most successful families, and balancing life between racing and running a major agricultural operation in California. So, without further ado, Chris Miner, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, John. Thanks for having me on.
So great to have you on, and you're out there working hard all day. And thanks for jumping out of the fields and coming back to talk with us. Um, let's get started. Your family name's tied to one of the most great success stories in drag racing history. What had growing up around your dad, Larry Miner, and his racing program teach you about the sport?
Well, um, he taught me to have nice stuff, keep your stuff nice, and surround yourself with good people, and good things will happen.
Well, that certainly happened a lot back then. Tons of records with the great Larry Dixon Sr. and, of course, Gary Beck, and just a kind of laid waste throughout the 1980s in Top Fuel. And you were telling a little bit before we came on the air. You're talking a little bit about that combination. Can you share a little bit what made that car so fast compared to its competitors?
That car had good people on it. Bernie Federley, Gary Beck, Willie Walter, Terry Caldwell, all legends. And my dad did a lot of innovation in that car with a different rear end, clutch, fuel system. It took a while for everybody to catch on to figure out what he was doing, but that was most of their success.
Pretty great. Well, we were hot rodding back then, trying new stuff, and didn't have to run it by a rules committee before you did.
You're
Things
right.
are a little bit different these days. What are your impressions of the current state of drag racing, especially in the nitro classes, compared to what it was like, which I cannot believe I'm about to say this 40 years ago.
That's a big difference. The biggest thing is the funding it takes to do it. If you want to be, competitive, it takes 4 to 5 million a year to run a car. Most people don't have that kind of money, so it takes sponsors, it takes marketing partners. It's a whole different business now.
Pretty crazy. Well, let's flip it over to where you spend a lot of your time. I know you're heavily involved in sand drag racing, which is a completely different environment from asphalt. What's been, I know that we talked a little bit offline, but what's the most intense or unforgettable run of your racing career in that category?
Sand drag racing. Um, Well, I, in my Jeep, a couple of times I had it up on two wheels. I used to have to pedal it a couple of times to get it down the track, and it was a pretty hairy beast to drive. But that would probably be my most memorable, scariest part. But yeah, and I've raced a lot of cars, a lot of off road racing, sand drag racing. Never raced on the asphalt, but I still love it. I still do it.
Pretty crazy. And so walk us through basically how sand drag racing works. I know that the field or the length is shorter, about 300 feet, and I had to ask, how do you deal with the sand? I mean, how do you prevent that stuff from getting in all the parts? Is there a difference in how you have to clean and prepare the cars?
It's very dirty, especially with a blown alcohol motor with a big screw blower on it. There's a lot of dirt, a lot of maintenance. But no, it's a whole different world driving on the dirt than it is on the asphalt. I mean, Bobby Cottrell could tell you that. Um, it's like riding a bull for 2.5 seconds.
Well, speaking about 2.5 seconds, you've got the world record, right? Tell us about that run.
Oh, back in 2020, March of 2024, over the winter, I took my Jeep to Bobby Cottrell and had him fix it, put it on his jig, and get it straightened out. And I asked him to drive it. So he got in it and drove it, and we set a world record that weekend. But the conditions were just perfect. We had a lot of rain. The track was heavy. The air was good. It was cool. Um, we set a record at 2.47 and 139 miles an hour. It's
That's
probably the
amazing.
fastest front engine, short wheelbase driven car in the sand.
Wow. And it's a Jeep essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Pro Mod Jeep with it's basically a Pro Mod chassis with a Jeep fiberglass Jeep body on.
Walk us through some of the categories that you might find at the sand drags.
Oh, we go from kids 50cc quads all the way up to blown alcohol top fuel dragsters. We don't have any more of those right now, but we have several top alcohol cars that put on a good show, and hopefully we get more of them.
Yeah, sounds great. I know that so many great names in Southern California, top fuel racing have come out of the sands. I mean, just
Oh
well,
yeah,
you guys, of course, but I think people would be surprised if they didn't know. Uh, but
there's a lot of guys come from the sand to the asphalt. Gary Selsey, Alan Johnson, um,
mhm,
Butch Blair. Um,
right,
there's a
Mr.
bunch of them.
Fagawi.
Fagawi, yeah, Danny Janelle,
Yeah, the
um,
Janelle brothers,
the
right?
Band Brothers. I mean, it goes back a long ways. It's a fun sport. It's fun for the family, fun for the kids. It's a little slow watching because the tractors take a lot of time prepping the track, but
Hmm.
all in all, it's a great sport.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So for the track prep, so what's the ideal sand drag surface? Do you have to pack it down?
No, we keep it loose. Some classes like it packed, but the bigger horsepower cars like it loose so they can grab the soil. Uh, we work it with my farm machinery. Um, we usually go out there about 2 weeks before the race, and we start prepping the track, watering it, and getting it level and getting it ready. And then all weekend we have to do that.
That's pretty great. About how many cars will attend one of your events? Is it about 100 or so, or
We,
someone?
I would love to have 100. We had 77 our last event, um, but I'd love to see over 100. That'd be
Hmm.
great. And I think we'll get there.
No, that'd be great. I mean, I bet the towns love it, or whatever town's close. I mean,
Yeah, our track is in Lake Elsinore, California, out by the skydiving airport. Motocross tracks right there. It's good soil. It's lake bottom soil. It's kind of heavy. It's good. It's good for the city. The city's really involved with us in this. They want to keep this going out there. They want to keep the motorsports going. So we were lucky and fortunate enough to have them on our side.
oh, that's really great. Well, I guess in addition to putting on your own events, you've teamed up with a sort of a partner up north there to put on a racing series. Tell us about that for this year.
Yeah, Mark Whitmore, he runs the Avenal Sand Drags, which is up by Kettleman City. He has two events a year, and we have three this year. So it's a 5 race point series. Uh, we're actually heading up there this weekend to race our cars. And next year, we plan on having 4 races, and he'll have two.
Awesome. So how do you set up the points? Is it just pretty, X number of points per round, or do you do ET or
It's all in rounds, points per
Mhm.
round. Yeah.
Pretty great. So, and what do we have about so in terms of the categories, obviously top alcohol dragster we heard. Do you separate the funny cars and the dragsters and then
Well, we have top alcohol, pro mod, top eliminator, a fuel, um, Jeeps, sand rails, all index classes, bracket racing.
oh,
Uh, most of the heads up classes are 295 to 395.
wow. That was my next question. Are there people out there running on an index in bracket racing? And
Oh
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Now you could race your golf cart against a dragster and beat him.
I love that. I used to announce at Bud's Creek several years ago, and there used to be a guy with a Pinto wagon with little round, like space. windows in the back. It was, and
Mhm.
he was good. And he ran about 18 seconds. And oh my gosh, he'd won so many times on, people red lighting because they just couldn't wait. Seemed
Yep.
like, oh my
Yep.
gosh. Well, that's really awesome. Well, yeah, good luck up there. And what are your current cars right now? Do you have a couple of them, or do you have the one machine?
I have two sand cars. I have the Pro Mod Jeep, which Bobby Cottrell drives, and I have a blown alcohol dragster, which Krista Sudam drives.
Oh, no kidding.
She just started driving it. She's had a couple laps in it. She's getting there. We just got to get her used to swapping her feet and not pushing the trans brake button. But
Well, that's
she'll
awesome.
do just fine.
Well, we got a who's who of former guests on tonight. We've had Bobby on, we've had Krista on as well. And so that we love her because she's tough and she'll work on the cars and drive them, right? Of course,
Well,
Bobby's a superstar out there.
can I tell you a little story about her?
Please, let's
I
hear
mean,
it.
I asked Bobby, I said, I want to put a girl in my dragster. Who do I get? Get Krista. So I was in Bakersfield a year or so ago, last year, and I went over to Kyle Howe's dragster, and she was under there doing the bottom end. I said, "Yeah, you'll be just fine." So that's she's going to be good, and I hope in the future we can get some marketing partners with her and move
Mhm.
on.
No, that's great. She was very impressive when we talked with her, and yeah, she's got a future, that's for sure. Well, folks, we are talking to Chris Miner here. So like, share, tell your friends he's out there, and start getting your questions and comments ready because we're going to go to a Q&A session here with the Super Crew and Johnny in a little bit. But let's jump back into it. So let's see if let's talk about some crazy stories. So between sand drags and travel and being around racing your whole life, you've probably seen some wild situations. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at the race or on the way?
Well, I would have to say when I was 14 years old, we went to Indy in 1978 with Dixon Senior's car.
Hmm.
Um, it was a 32 car field then. There'd be close to 100 top fuel cars there trying to qualify for almost a week. And, you get one run a day, and my job was to clean the oil pan and make sure it was clean. So I did that, and we went up and finally got a burnout. And back then we had to push the cars because we didn't have reversers. So I was pushing the car back, and Larry Dixon was pointing at the oil pressure gauge at zero. So we took it back to the pit, tore it apart. I left a rag in the oil pan, and it sucked up, and my dad chewed my ass out. So I went over and hung out with Connie and Scott Coletta the rest of the day.
Oh my God. Yeah, when you got to go hang with Connie Coletta for someone kind and gentle, that's saying something.
Great family.
Yeah, they are a great family. Man. Well, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
At
Well,
least
I
they
didn't make
caught it.
that mistake again. But there's a lot of things, but that one sticks out a lot. Um, I did a lot of off-road racing. Got a lot of memories there.
Were you in like some of the Baja 400 sort of stuff? Tell us about your off-road
500
adventures.
Baja 1000, San Felipe 250, and then in the States we ran, like the Mint 400, the Parker 400, Nevada 500,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Were you out there basically running with all the big dogs? What were some of the
Yeah,
great names
yeah.
there?
Walker Evans, Scoop Vessels, all of them. I
Wow.
raced with all of them.
That's some stuff out there. Or when you are out there, are you just kind of on your own? Are you driving continually?
I always did. I drove by myself 1,000 miles.
Wow.
It would take me, you know, 16 hours sometimes to go that long, 18 hours. But we didn't, back when I raced, we didn't have GPS. So
Mhm.
we would go down a week before, like in Mexico, and we would pre run, and we would carry different colors of ribbons with us. And different colors of ribbons meant different types of terrain. That's how we kind of marked our course. But when you got in a race car and you're racing, you're going, you can never find the ribbons. You just go. So, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Must have vibrated you around a lot where your vision, was probably hard to try to
Back
keep that
in those
that
days,
monster.
yeah, it was very rough. You didn't have suspension like you have now, but it was just true grit racing.
Man. Well, way back when I know you followed in your dad's footsteps. What got you guys involved in racing, coming from a huge agriculture, or did the racing come first? Tell us sort of how that worked.
No, the agriculture came first. My grandfather started farming here in the Hemet Valley in mid to late 40s. Started growing potatoes and, just went on for years. We grew potatoes up till about 10 years ago. Um, in my day of running a farming, a company, I managed 10,000 acres of potatoes a year
Wow.
in 4 different counties. So it was a big operation. And they were all fresh market potatoes. We didn't sell any potatoes at McDonald's. Everything we sold was to the grocery stores. So
Uh, that was
uh,
I don't know, where that what do you call it when someone makes something up? It's kind of a old wives' tale or so. But I mean, I remember somebody saying something about all the McDonald's French fries that you're eating come from Larry Minor, and that it was in a magazine or a newspaper or something back then. But you're saying that never happened, huh?
no, it never happened. Two and two go together, right? Potatoes and French fries. But no, we never sold one potato to McDonald's. We had a good friend, Ralph Boucher, who was involved with our racing, who was a produce broker in the LA market. And he had a connection with Golden State Foods, who supplied all the food to McDonald's. And that's how we got kind of involved with McDonald's.
Hmm. Yeah, it would have been a great. Well, I guess when Gibbs, I guess I'm mixing up my teams here, but I know that they were in drag racing for a while, but not with the minor team, or were
No,
they?
we only had them 3 years,
Mhm.
92 through 94. And my dad sold the team to Joe Gibbs in the end of 94. And I think he had them for, I don't know, maybe 6 years, something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, pretty well, but you got it started though.
I tell you a little story about Ed Renzi, who was the CEO of McDonald's. When the very first race in Pomona, the Winter Nationals, he came. He wanted to work on the car, clean parts, but he cooked us all hamburgers in the pits. So it was pretty cool.
Was it the original Mickey D hamburgers or just ones he
Well,
kind
no,
of?
no, they were handmade, but yeah. But no, great guy. He even went to my dad's introduction in the Hall of Fame in 2020. I hadn't seen him all those years, but it was great to see him.
All right, that's great. Well, tell us a little bit about, you're managing a gigantic agriculture, organization. You're, running a sand drag organization, running your own cars. Tell us what it takes to kind of manage all that stuff and keep all the balls in the air.
It takes a good wife. Yeah, my wife Terry helps me tremendously, and I have good people. I have people that probably worked for me for 30 years, um,
Wow.
running my day-to-day farming operation. And I have a farm management company and consulting company now. I, yeah, I farm 3 to 4 thousand acres a year.
Wow. So both for yourself and on behalf of others, is that what you're saying?
No, just the others. I farm
Mhm.
right now. I farm for a lot for a dairy family, a family who owns like 14 dairies between California and Arizona. And in my region, they have three. So I farm, well, about 3,000 acres a year for them, just cattle, dairy feed, corn, alfalfa, wheat,
Mhm.
ryegrass, stuff like that.
Well, that's interesting. So you do the farming of the food for the cows, right? Or do you actually
Yeah,
do some
it's all
ranching as
feed. It's
well?
all feed. When I first started my management company, I did a lot of growing for Grimway Farms. I grew a lot of carrots for them,
Hmm.
4 or 5 years, and then that didn't work out. So I just started growing dairy products and feed and forage crops, and been doing that the last 10, 12 years, and it's been pretty good.
Sounds good. I may have eaten some of your carrots over time. I remember getting them in the bag, and I think that's the brand we get.
Yeah, yeah, they've been around a long time.
Well, that's so cool. Go to here to John and the team here in a little while. We've got about 10 minutes, folks, so we'll bring your questions and comments in. But let's take it back to like at your earliest memories of being at the track or around your dad's race teams. When did you realize you wanted to be involved yourself, or did you have that option?
I don't know. I was born into it. I've been around nitro. I've been burning nitromethane since I was 5 years old. My dad put my go-kart on nitro when I was 5 years old. And we had a little go-kart track at our house, and my cousins and friends would come over on the weekends and we'd race, and that thing would just kicking their butt until the crankshaft flew out of it. But no, I've been burning nitro for a long time. I love it. It's I just love the smell of nitro.
Yeah, some of when we were kids, we had to deal with Cox airplanes and cars, and you had
Yeah,
it in your go-kart.
yeah, yeah. Had it in my go-kart. 30% nitro. Him and Jack Bear drilled the carburetor out and ran for a little while.
There's no between rounds maintenance for the go-kart back then.
No, no. But I did a lot of that, and I did motocross racing and off-road racing in the early '80s. If I could show you a picture. When I
Yeah,
first
let's
first
see.
started sand drag racing, I drove an ex Gary Beck car that we had in
Nice.
Riverside, California. I raced against Alan Johnson and Wyatt Radke, and I think I won a couple times that year. But yeah, it goes back to 1980, 81. And in the '90s, we built Jeeps and we'd go out to Glamis and we'd sand drag them in San Jacinto Riverbed. And a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. What else you got there? Let's see that.
I got my turquoise CJ5, had a little nitrous on it. It'd run low 4 seconds at 85 miles an hour and 300 feet.
It looks like it has top fuel wheels and tires on the back. Those are monstrous.
Yeah, they're 20-inch wide paddle tires we use in Glamis when we go out to the sand dunes and run around. And, they worked good until the dunes just got too rough. So we started building long travel Jeeps, and my dad built
Mhm.
40 of those things.
Wow. You're saying some of those are still around, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're all still around. Quite a few of them race out the sand drags. They're scattered from here to Detroit, Michigan. And I still have all the molds for the bodies. So if anybody needs them, look me up.
There you go. Start a whole new cottage industry. Well, what do you do? What do folks do in other states? I mean, I don't think they can, or do they ship sand in, or do some of these run in mud bogs and things like that?
No, Michigan, Silverback Off Road, the sand, Atoka, Oklahoma, um, Missouri. I actually sent Bobby and the guys back there last year to Missouri. We raced out there. They're kind of all over Mexico, Baja,
Hmm.
they're here and there. And there's a couple here in California, mine and Whitmore's track.
Sounds good. But I guess you could, I mean, I see the signs as I'm driving around. I'm not in the biz, but I do see signs for sand and gravel, right? Almost everywhere you go. So you can find some, right? You can find some to race
Yeah, I guess you want to import it in there, but it's expensive to do that.
in. So are they? I don't know if I maybe understood your question or your answer. Are they running in sand when they run in other areas of the country or some other?
Some places are, most places are dirt.
Okay.
They're all just dirt, and they prep it, and dirt's actually faster than sand. The
Huh.
heavier the soil, the higher horsepower cars, the quicker they're going to go.
That's interesting. So if you have a national record in one or the other, do they offset that or do they have separate records for sand and
Well,
dirt?
it's all one record.
Hmm.
Um, you know, just different types of soil.
Cool. That's right. Well, so find some dirt, guys, and find some low elevation and
Well,
cool
dirt
air.
like in California is hard to find.
Right. Well, what is the, let's start talking about technical in the setup, but if for fans who may not realize it, what's the biggest difference between sand drag racing and traditional drag racing in terms of driving and setup? I know, a lot of guys have come over. What have and I think some of them actually have used the same cars, have they not? Or at
In
least
the
back
early
in the day.
days, probably in the early days, they did. Not much difference other than the paddle tires. I mean, those tires are the same tires they run on a top fuel car. We just take them to scat track and they vulcanize those paddles on them. Other than that, we put a little bigger front tire on it because you don't want the skinny tire digging in the sand. That
Yeah.
my dragster that I have actually belonged to Jerry Darien, and Brittany Force used to drive it when she drove A fuel cars.
Wow, that's the famous teacher car for at
Yeah,
least one of them.
there's two of them.
Yeah.
It was hers and Courtney's.
Yeah, Darian taught about half the West Coast how to drive an A fuel car, didn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah, he was the guy.
Well, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, you
Still
don't want
doing
those.
it today.
Yeah, he's they're amazing. You don't want those big daddy down Garlett's mini tires of the early O's or I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of did that for a year or two. That well, very cool. Well, if we'll go to John here in a moment, but let me ask you this for racers who are listening who might want to get started in something like sand drag racing, sort of how can they sort of get started? Who do they call in?
We have a website, and we also have a Facebook page. I believe we have an Instagram page. You can look us up there. Anybody can race. You can race your car if you want it to. So I just want a place for people to have race and have be safe and have fun.
Wow, if someone does bring out their car, what kind of mods do they need to do? Is it, I mean, I can't imagine trying to run one, but maybe the answer is yes, you can run your car in the sand.
Well, you can. You just got to wear the safety equipment, helmet. I'm sure your stock seatbelt will be fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to go that fast in the dirt. So
Yeah, I mean, what happens when someone brings a street car in the dirt and without the paddle tires? I mean, obviously a lot of spinning, I would imagine.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty soft. They'd have a hard time. Actually, a friend of mine and I did that once. He had a '68 Copo Camaro with a blown big block, and we were racing sand drags out in Saboba Casino. And I brought over a set of paddle tires and put it on that thing and took it out there and raced it. It was a little slow because it was heavy, but it'd run 450, something like that.
That's amazing. Well, I guess you get to try. I just can't imagine. I would just think you would, in my mind's eye, rooster tail the place up and not go anywhere, but that's not the case. And
Now, in these bigger cars in the sand, that paddle tire is almost like a prop in the water. You have to get it spinning hard and get on top and go. Um,
hmm.
it's
Yeah,
so
so I guess that's the thing after the launch. You don't want to dig down in. You want to get it
you
going
want to
fast
stay
enough
on
to.
top and go. And, yeah, it's sometimes it's tricky, but um, your wheelie bar is your biggest tool, really. Your chassis tool.
That's what do you put at the bottom? Is it actually a wheel like in the drags, or do you have a pad or something on that thing?
Years ago they ran pad, and nowadays we just run a tire and a wheel. Like my tire and wheel, I bought at Tractor Supply for a lawnmower, so that's
There
what
you
I.
go. Well, there's a potential sponsor right there, Tractor Supply, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, Chris, you want to go to John and the rest of our super crew and see what kind of questions they are talking about out there? John, what's happening tonight?
Well, we have a great crew here tonight. We're coast to coast, and we have a few comments and questions. I'll save my comments and questions until after I take care of everybody else here. Street Legal Dragway says, "Hey guys, it's good to see Chris on your show."
There he is. Hi, buddy. We were talking about you. I hope you saw it.
Uh,
Hey,
Heidi
Andy.
Austin. Oh, go ahead, y'all.
Oh, thanks, Andy.
Heidi Austin says, "Go Chris and Terry," and she said, "We are going to haul butt this weekend," and that's from Bobby Cottrell.
Woohoo.
That's our plan.
Ford Purley just posted, he said, Silver Lake Sand Dunes here in Michigan is a popular drag destination. And
That's awesome.
let's see. I love your Volkswagen Beetle. I was wondering if you could give us a quick lowdown on that car.
Uh, well, a couple of years ago, I went to a race in Laughlin, and that class was racing. So I got up early at 6 a.m. Me and my buddy Bob Wright went out and watched them, and they put 50 of these things in a wash and a land rush start, and they had to take off and head to one trail. And I just thought that was the coolest thing to see 50 of these things going across the desert. And I came home. On my way home, I thought about building one. So a good friend of mine, Steve Griffith, had one. I said, let's build it. So I built it. And I thought I was going to drive it, but after I got it built, I can't fit in it. So I put Bud Ward in it for a little bit. And now I have another young kid, Matthew Van Avery, testing it and getting ready to race it. And I think he'll do good at it.
It's awesome, man. And I have another question. What's the green wreath on the wall behind you?
Over here, straight behind me.
The green
Right to your right, I think.
leaves.
Oh, that's just a wreath that says farmhouse.
Cool, man. Well, okay, I have another question. Is your dragster a fuel car?
The sand dragster?
Yes.
No, it was an A fuel car that was owned by Jerry Darian, and Brittany Force used to drive it.
Okay. Now, I remember this is not exactly off topic, but it has to do with one of your dragsters in the past. I remember reading about the '83 car that Gary Beck drove, and Garlitz was looking to find it for his museum, and it was a sand drag car when he found it, or that was part of its history. I think it ended up as a bracket car, but anyway, Big Daddy acquired it and restored it to the '83 specs, and it's in his museum.
It's not the actual car. The actual 83 car is in the Justice Brothers Museum here in California. Um, I've been to Garlitz Museum. I have never seen that car, but the actual car is actually in Ed Justice Brothers Museum.
Cool. Is that something folks can visit?
Oh yeah, yeah. That car's there, and then Ed McCullough's Miller High Life Funny Cars there also. And I'd like to give a shout out to Ed Justice and the Justice Brothers. They've supported me and my family in racing for over 40 years.
Wow.
Good people.
Well, Street Legal
Awesome.
Dragway just had a question. He asked, "What's Chris's plans with his Top Fuel Nostalgia dragster this year in Bobby Cottrell?"
Well, we're going to race it. That's what we built it for. We're heading to Bowling Green in June, and then we're going to go do a little match race thing with Bill Bader in Norwalk in July, and then go to Boise and go to the reunion and try to win a championship.
Right. Cool, man. That's great. Eric Hickey asked, "What's the story on your future small block project?"
Well, it's a dream. Actually, the last idea my dad had before he passed was to build a rear engine, small block blown Jeep, like my Jeep, but you sit up front. So I have all these ideas in my head, and Eric and I might do something. So
So what's the thought that you have a little bit better weight distribution on the rear end to try to get better traction? And or what
yeah,
do
I
you
want
think?
to try to move the motor back as far as I can. Really lightweight. You know, I have a quick change rear end for it. I have a lot of parts and pieces and a body, and it's just a thought that I've been thinking about doing here and maybe this winter. So we'll see.
Well, need a winter project when it's too cold to farm, I reckon.
Well, I got a good fabricator, so he's one of the best and probably the best driver out there in my eyes. So
Awesome. John, anything else, sir?
We are caught up for the moment, Phyllis.
Well, I appreciate it, sir, and thank you everybody out there in the super crew. Great questions, and let's just do a couple more for our friend Chris. So, Chris, I mean, is for folks who we talked about people wanting to come out, but you've been had a lot of success in a lot of different areas. What's the one skill or mindset folks should focus on rather, as if they want to go racing, if they want to do anything else in life to kind of succeed?
Well, I mean, we can do anything that our heart and our mind wants us to do. You just have to stick to it and surround yourself with good people, whatever you're doing, whether it's farming or racing. It takes good people. And if you want to advance and be fast and win championships, that's what it takes.
Got it. Bring the good folks.
And a lot of money.
Yeah, gotta hit the green. Well, before we wrap up, who would you like to thank? You already gave a shout out to the great Justice Brothers and a lot of your drivers and folks who've helped you, but family, crew members, sponsors, whoever else has helped you along the way. Here's an opportunity to say hello.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank my wife, Terry, for supporting me in all this. And I wouldn't do it without her. So, her, my family, my kids, my stepkids. I have 6 kids, 3 of my own and 3 with my wife, and I have 5 grandchildren. And just Bob DeVore, he's helped me a lot. Bobby Cottrell, just all my guys. Donnie Couch has come on board the last few months, and hopefully we can do good things.
No doubt. And finally, we talked a little bit about the websites, but where can folks follow along? Racing events, social media, or places where they can see sand drag racing in person?
All of our sand drag stuff's posted on worldsanddragnews.com, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those social media sites. So Kaylin Mings does all my social media work for me. He does a really good job, and we're going to come out with our new flyer here pretty soon for our race in June. So hopefully next week we'll have that out.
Awesome. We'll keep an eye out for it. And before we say farewell, any final crazy stories that you can think of? Any behind the scenes stuff that fans may not have heard before?
Well, probably one. I built a new off-road truck in late '89. I took it to Parker, and my brother Larry Jean drove my old truck. But back in those days, we had to draw out of a hat for your starting position. And there's 25, 30 trucks there, and he drew number 5 or something, and I drew like 15. So I had to start kind of midfield, and I took off out of the blue water and hauling butt and get down to the left corner, and I blew the corner, ended up out in the bushes, almost crashed the first mile into the race. Luckily, I got out of it and kept going, and then halfway through the first lap, I was following another car in the dust going up a mountain road, and I blew a corner, and my ass into the truck was hanging off the cliff. And I looked up, and there's a guy sitting up there with a Jeep, and he came right down and pulled me out. I wasn't down 3 minutes, and I went on and won the race that year. So it's pretty memorable.
Wow.
It's even on ESPN if you want to watch it.
Heck yeah. We need to look that up now. My goodness. And John, did you have another thought, sir?
Yes, we got one post here that I wanted to let Chris know. There's a shout out to Chris and his family from Kit and Rob.
Oh, yeah. My 2 biggest fans.
Outstanding.
Thanks, guys.
Well, good to hear from you guys. And you got 2 more big fans here. Chris Miner, Sand Dragon, and great stories from the past and all kinds of racing. What a pleasure to visit with you tonight, sir. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. I have a lot of stories, but we're just running out of time.
Well, you got more. We got nothing but time. We also got more dates, lots of Monday nights. So we'll bring you on one of these.
Hopefully, after this year with our top fuel program, we can talk about that. So uh,
That sounds good.
I'm into this heritage thing for a while. I'm not going nowhere. I sponsor a couple cars out there, the quarter pounder, different cars, but I enjoy it and want to keep doing it.
That sounds great. Well, we'll look for seeing you. Maybe we'll catch you out at the California Hot Rod Reunion this year or
Really, yeah,
somewhere down the road.
yeah. Or Bowling Green if you come out to Bowling Green.
Well, I agree. Yeah, it's been a while. I need to get back out there.
Yeah.
I hate to say it's been, well, I can't tell you when, but it was a while. I went to the first one that Steve put
Yep.
on many moons ago.
I've
But
never been to Bowling Green. And so the old track, I've seen it on TV and stuff, but first time for me, so it's exciting.
you'll enjoy it. It's hot and humid,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a good old-fashioned racetrack. It's definitely not too big for the class. Sometimes the nostalgia cars sort of get dwarfed by the track, right? It just doesn't sort of fit. But this place, they looks like they belong there. It's really awesome.
yeah. And just the dragsters are going this year, so it kind of sucks that they split them up like that, but
Mm.
that's how it goes. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, all the best to you and your drivers, Krista and Mr. Oh my gosh, now I'm blanking. Oh, Bobby,
Bobby,
of course, and
the
everybody else
great
you
Bobby
support.
Cottrell.
Bobby Cottrell, the man. I
Yeah,
mean, we've been happy to have on and look forward to having him again. Maybe we'll bring the whole crew on one of these days.
I got to say this about Bobby. He reminds me a lot of Don Garlits.
Yeah, wow, that's huge. Tell us about what do you think? Why you think that? Obviously, you
Well, he's raced with nothing, right? He doesn't have a lot of money, and he's a heck of a fabricator like Don Garlits, and heck of a mechanic and a hell of a driver. So those kind of, to have all those qualities is pretty tough to find.
well, that's amazing. Well, Bobby, you got this. We got this recorded live. He can't back out of it now.
I tell him that all the time. He just laughs at me. No, I'm serious. I've watched Don Garlits over the years and how he ran his cars, and just an awesome guy.
Yeah, there's talking about it and doing it, and he's been doing it forever and ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you forever and ever too out there, Chris
Well,
Miner,
I'll
ladies
try.
and gentlemen.
I'm going to do it as long as my health and my wallet will let me. So
Let's see which one lasts. Hopefully both for a long time.
no, I'm having fun doing it. And I want to continue doing it, and it keeps me going.
I love it. Well, Mr. Miner, thank you so much for visiting with us tonight. It was really a pleasure to meet you and to chat. And we'll look forward to following you and your cars along. And best of luck in 2026.
I appreciate that, guys.
All
Thank you,
right,
John. Thank you, Bill.
you
Have a good
bet.
night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Chris Miner, going Sand Dragon and a quarter mile drag racing. We'll talk to you later, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's say farewell to Mr. Miner and turn it over to JB for this week's JB's Take and the Racer of the Week. John, take it away.
Thanks, BP. My pick for Racer of the Week is Dave Dopey Grabham from Yeovil, Somerset, United Kingdom. I've been friends with Dave and Robbie Grabham for several years since I first featured Robbie as driver of the Freddy's Revenge Fiat Double B Altered. The Grabham's involvement in British drag racing is legendary, going back decades, and they consistently put on an outstanding show. I'll do my best to feature Dave and the Grabham crew tonight. Unfortunately, I haven't received racing information from Dave, but I have visited Eurodragster.com and the Freddy's Revenge website, as well as Dave's Facebook page. I learned that Dave is the owner, crew chief, and driver of these hot rods. Recently, they built a Dodge Avenger nostalgia funny car, and it's called the West Country Shaker. It is an absolutely gorgeous car. Dave piloted it at Dragstalgia. The black funny car with flames is a stretched Austin body called Freddy II. It sits on the Freddy's Revenge chassis. The black with flames paint job goes back to the original John Force funny car from the 1990s, and this from Dick Sharp, whose Austin Funny Cars paint scheme this car is based on. It's a favorite of mine and all of Dave's friends. If I had more information, I'd be happy to deliver it, but this is about all I have for now. Well, Dave, it's been great getting to know y'all and to be your friend. Thank you. We wish you and the Grabhams good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show, and we love you all. It's a great way to spend an hour together on a Monday night. We'll see you all next time. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John. Short but sweet, but one of the great racers in the UK, and those guys
Yes,
have they're a tough bunch over there. They've been doing it as long as we have almost, and with a lot less parts and a lot less money in a lot of cases, but they're making it happen. So really great. I love all those cars on your poster. Another beautiful poster. So
they're,
congrats on
they're all
that.
beautiful. They're all beautiful cars, and Dave is a totally cool guy. Everybody loves the guy. He's just a fantastic person. For some reason, we weren't able to hook up on information, but if I do get information from him, I'd be sure to relay it on the show.
Awesome. Well, we'll do a part two. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Let's talk about the YouTube channel. I want to give you an update on that. No events really to talk about this week, but the Drag Racing List YouTube channel went from 703 subscribers last week and 111,000 views to 721 subscribers and 116,000 views. So we're gaining like 18 to 20 subscribers a week and about 5,000 views a week. So I'm pretty happy about that. Thanks to Sophia for getting that started for us. And tell your friends, folks, that we're out here. Tell your friends we bring folks like Chris Miner and others trying to see the sport from all different angles and just like to keep it going. Uh, I just started posting, so I'm starting to post the shorts, the little reels into the future. So I know a lot of people were really enjoying our shorts from this last week. Um, and a lot of folks with Liz Leggett who did a great job, and of course a lot of Ida Zetterstrom shorts still going, and we got them planned out for weeks. The next ones I'm putting up, you'll see one coming up next week. Our Butch Leal show, the California Flash, and Rocky and Joey Perone. Those are the next ones coming up, and we're going to keep churning them out based on our past shows. Eventually, we'll get to all of our past shows and break them up into reels and let people remember what folks said and go find the original shows. So really excited with how the YouTube channel is going. Um, Drop a comment if you enjoyed the show tonight. Let us know what you liked about it and or things we can fix and let us know what you want to see in the future. We're here for you. Let's keep on chatting here. So we got upcoming guests. We're really excited about this next Monday night. Mike Peck, the Instigator Funny Car, the March Meet winner this year, is going to be joining us. Looking forward to talking to Mike. On the 11th, Butch Hill will be here from the Nostalgia Drag Racing League. And on the 18th, Elon Werner from Werner Communications, one of the great PR guys in the sport. Also the guy that runs that NHRA Bracket Bonanza deal that you've seen this year. I hope you enjoy playing that. Uh, on the 25th, we're not going to have a show, Memorial Day. We're going to be enjoying that. And on June 1st, Steve King of Pilot Racing. I saw Steve on one of his videos. He does a really cool podcast with Jason Harris. So looking forward to talking with Steve. And on the 29th of June, Jeff Atamian, the driver of the Beast Jet Funny Car, one of the venerable jet cars that's run in California for years and years and years. And of course, Miss K is working hard on getting the rest of the dates in June filled out and some dates in July. I'll give you just a little heads up here that I will be taking an extended vacation with my lovely wife, Denise. And so towards the end of July and early into August, we're going to skip about 3 weeks probably. I don't know have those exact dates yet, but we're saving up a whole bunch of reels so that we can have these things play every single day throughout the summer, and we'll be back with bells on in late August. That's just a little bit of a heads up to let you know. Hope you enjoy any vacation you may have this year. But this will be our we both retired now officially, and this can be our big retirement celebration. So let's go on and talk about lost friends. And heard from Kai Michelson this week. He said he's very sorry to say his lifelong friend and racing partner, Bill Bissonette, passed away on the 17th of April. RIP to Bill. Kai said he'll always remember the good times we had racing together. Bill Bissonette back in the gas dragster days of the 60s and perhaps into the 70s with Kai Michelson. So farewell to Mr. Bissonette. Also, on the 21st, we lost Thomas Beasley, the great West Virginia superstock racer known as the West Virginia Peddler. So farewell to Mr. Beasley, Thomas Beasley passing on the 21st. And then on the 27th, believe it or not, just found out about this today, Jay Sapelka, Super Pro and Super Gas Dodge Omni racer, and he had a brief battle with pancreatic cancer. He was a champion on the NHRA and IHRA and Mid-Atlantic 90 Series Tour with his Mopar-powered race cars. Please keep Chris, Kara, and the rest of the Sapelka family in your thoughts and prayers. And this comes from, of course, the 990 Mid-Atlantic 990 guys. So farewell to Jay Sapelka, passing away just today. And that's our condolences, of course, to the family and friends of these great racers. And thanks for the thrills over the years, guys. And with that, John, I'll send it over your way for some final thoughts on the show.
Well, I really enjoyed Chris Minor, but it was all I could do to keep from calling him Larry. He looks so much like his dad. And, people tell me the same thing about me and my dad, so I understand how that goes. And I had a good time with everybody on the chat board tonight. Everybody was just super cool about it, and I'm looking forward to next week with Mike Peck and Carly Ball, our racer of the week. So everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, looking forward to that next week. Lots of really great racer of the week coming up as well. And let's say a final thanks to Chris Miner, who was awesome tonight. Really had a great time talking with him actually before the show and on a call this afternoon too. So really enjoyed talking to Chris. Of course, my friend John Bachman taking care of us as always with the beautiful posters and promo work. Kate Turkelson, who's out and about, she's all over the place, man. And Sophia Roveda doing some amazing work as our PR intern. Pete Moriello out there from the West Coast. Rob McCabe doing amazing work every single day on Draglist. David Oakes with the photos. Mel Bashore. Ron Toombs with a lot of updates this week. And John Mernon as well with a whole bunch of updates. Thanks also to Dave Wislowski and Jeff Gilder, who got us started way back in the day. Special shout out to our pal Nitro Alley. And thanks in heaven to Danny White, the big man, looking out for us and looking over us as we keep on rolling. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below on things we can do a little bit better or folks you'd like to see us bring your way. Check out draglist.com every day to see what's new, daily drag racing updates, and how I'm going to do that from my location in late July, early August. I'm still trying to figure out. But you can also find us on the Radio Bob Network, which showcases our shows. And finally, we will see you next Monday night, May 4th, for Mike Peck, who won the March meet in Nostalgia Funny Car this year. Really looking forward to catching up with Mike. So, folks, on behalf of John and everybody else, and Kay and Rob and the rest of the gang, I will see you next week. My name's Bill, and catch you later.